is my name, and I am a policy and communications advisor for Mayor Ted Wheeler in Portland. I work for Skylar, who was on this subcommittee. Background prior to this work for the city, I was many years a foreign service officer in the Department of State. When I left that, moved back to Portland and got into business and founded a tech startup that we grew and then sold. And during that process, we built software. I learned a lot about data, and I think that's why Skylar asked me to get looped into this, saying, "Hey, you have background in data. This could be helpful." And so I'm excited to be here. Good to meet all of you.
And I'll note for the record, Rick is here. Hello, Rick. So that means we're just missing Annalise. Our first question is, we lost our co-chair. The question I have for you all, does someone else want to be co-chair, or do we need a co-chair? It seems we're small enough and work through consensus. I don't know whether my chairmanship gives me any particular influence, other than I have to get together with Lisa to try to put together a agenda for the meeting. So my first question is, does anyone have a burning desire to be co-chair? I can't blame you for it. I don't have a burning desire to remain co-chair, but I have a sense of duty. Okay, next question to all of you is, does anyone object to proceeding with just a single chair?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, so here we go. Let's go on with just David Hart as the chair. But again, my objective is to have a consensus for anything that comes out of the subcommittee, because frankly, all we can do is make recommendations, and without a consensus, what we do is arguably worthless.
David, real quick, Deb, are you okay if we go without a co-chair? Or yeah, and Hank? Oh, you're not a voting member, I guess, right? So, yeah. And then Annalise just hopped in, so.
Okay. Hey, Annalise, our first order of business after having heard Hank introduce himself is we have lost our co-chair, although she remains on the full board. And the question was, does anyone want to be co-chair? And if not, should we proceed with just me as chair? Nobody wanted to be co-chair. Do you want to be co-chair? Annalise? Maybe she's connecting to and here's Skylar, who couldn't stay away. You missed us.
I did. I thought I should do a warm handoff, but I'm sorry I'm late. I was looking at other things and then just saw the new link, so sorry.
The handoff already occurred, and she's fine with one chair, so we've got that piece of business done. I'll proceed as the chair with the intent to work closely with all of you in terms of setting agendas, et cetera, et cetera. I may be wrong, but the big issue we have today, and I asked to have us meet without the consultants, is how will we do the outreach? We've already decided we're going to do an outreach to potential users of the data system to try to get their input as to, what's missing, what would be helpful. And we have a consultant available who's already contracted with OHA. We have the option to do a RFP, I guess, and go through contracting process. I believe we've already reached a consensus that it was preferable not to do that, but to use the existing consultants. Am I correct? Do we all want to take that route? Does anyone object to taking that route? So I'm saying consultant because I'm having a senior moment. Lisa, what's the name of that group again? Lisa Shields.
That's Program Design and Evaluation Services, or PDES, and they are a joint state and Multnomah County evaluation and research entity.
Right. So I think we have a consensus that we want to go with PDES. I think we need to run that by the full board. I mean, I think that's one of the examples of this is a recommendation. So in the next meeting, unless someone else from this group wants to make it, I'll make the recommendation to the board. And I think our reasoning is we don't want to go, that these seem like they're a good fit and we don't have to go through a contracting process. And my understanding is they're a bargain. So, you know, what could be better? Hey, Annalise, you have your hand up. Do you want to?
Yeah, so along those lines, you just said they're a bargain. Do we have an estimate for the cost? I mean, I realize we haven't drafted this yet, but I think if we're going to present it to the full commission, I think we should present that.
That's on the agenda. It's one of the little sub bullets. Though I'm not 100% sure we'll be able to have a budget, because first we may have them be able to present it, but our next decision is what we want them to do, because obviously their work, the scope of the work is what's going to drive the cost, right? So the reason why I wanted to have a discussion today with just the subcommittee is to decide among ourselves what we want them to do. Do we want them to do a survey, paper survey? Do we want them to do interviews? Do we want them to do a survey, come back to us with the survey, and then we potentially invite individuals to come speak to us directly? By the way, that's my preference. That's going to be my suggestion. But that's our first discussion point. So what do the rest of you think? Do we want them to, do we want to give them instructions to go forth, do a survey, do interviews, write up a report and give us their findings? Or do we want to do something less than that, such as have them create a written survey, come up with potential individuals to receive the survey? We could make suggestions, they could come up with theirs, send out the survey, report on the survey, and then we decide next steps. So what do the rest of you think? Fernando.
Yeah, I would up for discussion, but my gut is telling me to get a little bit more information around what the survey will entail and who to collect it from, and to work with them a little bit to craft that. So basically the second option of what you said is what my gut is telling me to explore with them. I think it might also help with figuring out Annalise's question around budget too. So it's not so just like, just go spend money on whatever, or however you think is best.
So I don't want to, so you're suggesting that we work with PDES to identify potential recipients of a survey, create a survey tool, and then send it out. And then we can look at the result of the survey tool and perhaps take a next step of interviews. Is that
And correct? And part of my thinking behind that is, as we've been also seeing with the email chains that have been going back with people representing the recovery communities, I do think it's important that we are assisting PDES in selecting the questions and who it's going to, so that we are getting a broader range of responses that maybe aren't usually represented. Often when the health authority or different agencies are trying to collect a lot of this data, they tend to always go to kind of who they know. And so I think it'd be good if we kind of, help out with the creation and also picking who should receive it.
How about someone else, Hank or Rick or Annalise? Is that,
Hi, that was supposed to be a hand, but it's clapping. But I do want to applaud the efforts. One question just coming out at Newer is are we working with a particular office already, like maybe an OHA that will carry out the data collection, that will process it, or is this totally a blue sky? Like if we went to PDES, are we doing that blue sky? Like we want to envision the perfect way, the perfect way of collecting data, or also the perfect sort of questions we want to answer with the data. Because that's one thing, but the other thing would be kind of working within maybe the rubric or parameters of an office that is already assigned to do the data collection when it comes to that time.
should I call on Zeb, or do we want to answer Hank's question? Which
I think answer Hank's question first, because I think that's important.
all right. Does someone else want to take a shot at it? I can if no one else does.
I mean, I'm happy to jump in because I think we spent a lot of time spinning on that, Hank, and really decided that we needed to go blue sky. What is the end product that we want, as opposed to going into here's all the different dashboards that are already out there. I think it's more like, what is it that we want? And then it's probably going to be an overlay, right? There'll be another stage to this contract, and behind the scenes, those of us in agency world have to figure out, where's this going to live? Who's going to staff it long term? That's my interpretation of where we are in the conversation, but please, anybody feel free to disagree.
Well, I'll call on Zeb because his hand is up, but I agree with you, but I think there's more, Annalise. It's what do we want and what don't we have now, which is maybe the other flip side of the coin. Zeb?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, and this will be short. I was just going to say I agree with what Fernando's saying. I like to have a wide range of people that are represented doing the survey, so we make sure we reach all corners of the state and everything. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Well, how would we achieve that? My thought is we would first make that their brief, ask them to go out and see what they come up with. But I would also suggest that our full board and ourselves, we do the same and make suggestions of groups and individuals that we think we should solicit information from. I mean, or what else? What are our other options?
So David, are you suggesting, so maybe the first course of work is a survey of our own commission?
No, I'm suggesting two things. First, we ask the consultant. Your first job is to identify a broad range of potential data users that we should survey. But I'm also suggesting, and this is partially following up on Fernando, that we just shouldn't rely on them because they may come up with the usual suspects, but we all can on our own try to identify folks that should be contacted. So I'm suggesting a dual track.
Yes, it's interesting. I like the way you kind of put that. It's like let's let them compile a first list, and then we review the list to ensure that it's kind of broad enough, and then it's reaching the different corners. And Hank, I know you're new and it's your first meeting with us, but you seem to be a data collection person. So in the light of the blue sky, all the kind of stuff, how do you feel about that way of approaching it? And I know you're still getting caught up, so, okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, of course. No, and I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of learning. I think, in my experience, if you're talking about data, it's really important to be precise about what you want to answer. And so I think it's good to spend effort. I think, David, that's what I was writing down. They identify data uses, right? And then the secondary aspect of that is hard is, can we actually find data that represents that can answer the questions? Because sometimes, it can be debatable, right? There's a lot of variables that go into a certain end state, and does this data answer it? But it's really, that secondary question can only happen after you're really precise about what it is you want the data to answer. What problem are we trying to solve? We're trying to solve the problem that action, that it's sometimes hard to relate action to results. So we want the data to help us do that, and be really precise is important. So I feel like it is worthwhile to really to do that kind of phase one that, David, you were talking about. What is the data going to be used for? What are we answering with that data? And to get the comment about making sure you're going out to all the stakeholders, urban, rural, et cetera, would be important, because I'm sure there might be different perspectives about what we want the data to be answering or telling us.
Rick, are you good with this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to not keep us in spin mode. So I've been keeping my mouth shut. I guess this is fine. I guess my concern is, if you set up data to answer everyone's question, you'll never get there. And that this clause was because legislators can't get their hands on what is the system, what is the need. And so, some precision around that would be useful. But, I would just say, let's go forward and see what they come up with, but really want to be able to go back to the legislature and say, here's our rising need, here's our current capacity. You guys can make a policy decision about whether you want to meet that need or let people die on the streets. It's up to you. So I'm fine with it. So just move on.
All right. What I hear is that your concerns are more with the phase two. What comes up after we do that survey. So I'm sure we'll come to it. So our instructions to PEDS would be to come up with a list and a survey instrument and bring it back to us. And then we can potentially add names to the list, right? And or take some away, and maybe we'll tweak the instruments. And then they're going to send it out. Do we want them to create some kind of a report, would that be the next step, or do we just all of us read? I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I don't know how many of the people are going to be surveyed. Do we all just read it, or do we have them create a report? It might be nice to have a little report.
They need to do the analysis. We can agree with the analysis or disagree, but someone has to get the data, work the data, give an analysis. We can see their work and we can agree or disagree with that work, but someone needs to do the work.
Agreed.
That's not a piece of work.
No, I agree, but you see, I see a second phase of the outreach, and that's actually talking to people, right? And we could have PEDS do the talking and incorporate that into the report, or we could do it ourselves. We could invite them, or we could do a mixture of the two. Does anyone have any thoughts there? My thought is to have in the survey instrument something like, would you be willing to spend some time and talk to us about it? And we could see if there's a interest, we could invite them, or we could have PEDS do the interview. Annalise?
My 2 cents, I think it makes sense to build into the PDES statement of work, doing some number of listening sessions, and probably like grouping folks. But in my mind, that makes sense, especially in this space where I think folks don't always have the vocabulary to know how to say how they want to use the data. So I think using the survey and then doing some follow-up conversations would probably be productive.
Do we want PEDS to decide who should get the follow-up, or do we want to do that? And do we want them to do that before providing us with a report?
I think they should do it before providing the report. And I think what we do, my recommendation would be that we set up like a steering committee. And this, I mean, this committee is so small, maybe it's everyone on this committee, right? That you just have like a steering committee that's meeting with them regularly to provide them input.
I like that. Yeah. Fernando?
I concur with what Emily said, and primarily a big, as you guys know, I've been saying this for a long time, a big concern of mine is the data equity piece of this, that we've already had presentations from people coming in and telling us that their data collection in BIPOC and underserved communities is not great. And so in the spirit of moving forward, you know, I've been wanting maybe a different contractor will move forward with PDES, but I do think that I personally would like to have a little bit more say in ensuring that sort of data equity, so that we are representing the underrepresented parts of the state and the underrepresented community.
So when we
You just build that into the contract. Make that an emphasis, is that you guys need to present a strategy for getting the voices of people who've been traditionally underserved and undervoiced in the state.
And even just to add on to Rick's comment, would it make sense to allow for a subcontract? Because although we can contract directly with PDES, they can go ahead and subcontract. I don't know, in terms of data equity, Fernando, like what kinds of approaches you've thought of, but I mean, we could, you know, even require them to consider subcontracting with another organization. I don't know, throwing it out there.
I'd also like to remind ourselves that PRR is under contract to help ensure equity throughout this whole project, and they are connecting with PDES to help with this whole engagement piece and to ensure equity. So PRR is standing by at the ready to help with this.
Yeah, and at least because you called me out specifically, you know, this is one of those ones where on a Jahari window, it's an unknown for me, and that's why, you know, how to ensure data equity. You know, there's a reason that people like Hank exist, and that data collection is kind of a degree in college. And so asking a counselor about it is maybe not the best. I just know that like I said, we've had already presentations from various agencies within the government and without, telling us that their collection of data from underserved communities is not good. And so I think I'd like to keep that forefront in the mind. And so whether it's a subcontractor, Rick's idea of definitely just writing it into the contract that we're going to have with them is probably a good idea, but exactly what it would look like, I honestly couldn't say.
So from the budgeting point of view, would we, and this is a question to Lisa Shield, would we be able to reach out to PDES and ask them for a budget and an estimate for this initial project that we can then present to the full committee for approval?
Yes, maybe we could have an email conversation, just double checking all these parameters that you've discussed so far so we can get an accurate budget.
Do we need to have this subcommittee meet with PDES before they do that budget?
What are your
Yes,
thoughts, David?
that's a rhetorical question, but it was also, well, you know, I guess we could look to see how refined our written instructions are and ask them, do we need to flesh this out? Really, what I don't want to have is myself as the chair having to liaison with PDES and try to tell them what you all want, because I'll get it wrong somehow, and then you'll be pissed. And I got enough people that were annoyed with me, so that's the only reason why I will agree to be co-chair, I'll be chair here, is I don't want to get any more flack, because I get a lot.
Your implementation team at PRR and OHA would be happy to liaise with PDES and stay in, report back at the level that you want. Happy to ease that burden.
But we're not going to have another meeting between now among ourselves and the next board meeting. So I'm kind of like, what do we do now? Do we wait to present this to the board? Or do we try to get it squeezed in? We may be rushing them. I hate delay, and I'm tired of the delay. I want to get money out the door for actually substantive projects, but I don't think we're in a rush for the data system. Do the rest of the subcommittee, do you all want to try to refine a little bit more and get concrete our written instructions and our budget estimate from PDES before we present it to the full board? Meaning, do we want to wait another month? And that's my predisposition. I'll be honest, I have work travel next week, and I might have to go to New York and Boston. So I'm not going to be thinking about this at all.
I think waiting until we have a little bit more information is my inclination. Like, it just feels weird to go to the board and say, like, we're doing this, but we can't tell you the details, so we'll be back.
Right.
I mean, one of us could provide like a quick update. We do have a short period on the agenda, and then say, we're going to come back to you when we have a better idea about the contract. That's my 2 cents.
I like that approach.
Agreed.
All right, good. Well, we're on track. I think we may be done. Did we have anything else on the agenda? For today, I don't think so. I'm not looking at the agenda, but by memory, we don't. I guess we have to see a writing of what we're going to communicate to PDES. So Lisa, will you make the first draft of that
Yes,
and then circulate it to all of us? And then we can fine tune it before you share it with PDES. Is that the plan?
yeah, happy to do that.
Do we have anything more we have to talk about today? Because I want to eat lunch before my 1 o'clock, and I'd appreciate the extra 15 minutes.
Do we have any public comment, Lisa, or anything? Or?
No public comment.
Well, thank you, everybody. Even though it took us 15 minutes to get on, we got it all done. Bye-bye.